Okay, reviewers, a very warm welcome to everyone, and especially today we have very special guest, a renowned speaker, and a good friend of us who has very kind that he has given us a time for such a precious webinar, which is desk rejection. Most of the time, the students they ask me a lot that what to do and how to search the journal and how to search the scope, which journal is relevant, and so many queries we mostly get from the students. So that's why we have requested our respected guest today that please enlighten us on that how can we search for a journal and how can we arrange ourselves accordingly for that. So before I go formally and hand over the session to the respected doctor, let me just have an introduction of him. Today we have a very special guest that is Dr. Jeetesh Kumar. He is a senior lecturer at the School of Hospitality, Tourism and Events and Associate Director for Information Management and Documentation at Center for Research and Innovation in Tourism. That is Taylor University, Malaysia, which is one of the top university in the Malaysia. His doctorate is from Taylor's University in Hospitality and Tourism, which with research on economic impact of business events in Malaysia. He has two postgraduate degrees specialties. First one is the professional masters in hospitality management and international tourism from University of Toulouse, France, and the other in the business administration from Hamdard University, Pakistan. His research area include economic impact, economic modeling, medical tourism, behavioral studies, etc. He has worked on consultancy and research projects at national and international level, and he has been author of 35 plus publication, including the research articles, the book chapters, the conference proceedings. Along with that, he is an active member of several national and international associations, conferences, and journals. He is also serving as an associate editor for Asia Pacific Journal Innovation in Hospitality and Tourism. Recently, he has offered webinars, guest speeches for various universities in different countries like Philippines, India, Japan, Indonesia, China, Australia, and Pakistan. Thank you very much, Dr. Jatish, for sparing a precious of your time and for joining this session. Welcome to the Calvas.
Thank you so much, Dr. Heather, for a very brief introduction. I'm really humble. I'm really honored to be with all of you to share my thoughts, basic knowledge, actually, the basic questions to clear those basic queries. Actually, what most of the early researchers, our postgraduate students used to have, actually, and regarding the how to deal with the rejection, actually. So rejection
Yes.
is good or rejection is bad? Is it an opportunity? Is it a limitation? Is it a dead end, or what it
Yes.
is? So I have prepared some of the slides which I will be sharing in a short while. I will be taking probably 30-40 minutes to discuss those
Right.
slides, as
Right.
well as I will be making you visit to few websites like Web of Science and Scopus, as well as a bill list and a few other applications which can be very helpful while we are drafting the manuscript. So
Yes.
once again, thank you so much, and please feel free to put your question in the chat box, in the comments. We can
Yes.
address, we can go through those comments, actually, because
Yeah.
the discussion is the most important, actually, rather
True.
than only one-sided. I will try
Yeah.
my best to cover up whatever I have. I have a plan for, but if I'm
Mm.
lacking anything, just drop a question, and that will
Yeah.
be really nice to have a direct discussion, actually, which
True.
we can have later after the presentation. So please
Dr.
allow me to
Jitish, we
share.
have yes, please. Dr. Jitish, we have a bombardment of questions for you in advance. I'm not sure how many we will get at the end of the presentation, but still, it's a very hot topic and a lot of, as you already mentioned, that a lot of doubts are there. So it will be very much cleared. So yeah, the screen is visible.
Uh, I'm very happy that you have already like ready-made question, actually. So we will try our best to answer as many as question. But if
Yeah.
time doesn't allow, I'm very happy. I will be very happy if you can send me those questions, actually, So probably
Yes.
over the weekend, tomorrow or day after, I will go through those questions. I will try my best to answer those questions in the write-up.
Yes.
Also, the
Correct.
last slide of this presentation is my contact details. Actually, you can connect me on the
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Facebook, social
Yes.
networks. You can approach me through emails. So I will be sharing that details as well. So you can direct send me your question as well, and
That would be wonderful.
we can get connected
Yes.
to have more interaction in a casual
Yes.
manner.
Yes.
So
That
and
will be nice opportunity for the viewers as well, because they can work with you in a collaboration on any research project or any research opportunity. Actually, that would be wonderful.
that we can see actually, because we all have different limitations actually, but I
True.
don't
Yes.
deny anyone, but let's see how
Yes.
does it go actually. So
True. Very.
let's come to this topic, which is a desk rejection from your chosen journal. Then what's next once you have submitted the paper, and after 25 days, after 28 days actually, you receive the email from editor, EIC, editor in chief, that I'm extremely sorry, your paper is rejected. What used to happen most of the time actually, just last week I have received one after working in this industry. But it's okay, we are not perfect actually, no one is perfect actually. If
True.
someone is saying I'm perfect, that's myth. Nothing is
True.
perfect in
Very
this
true.
world. And
Very true. Very.
we have thousands of journals actually. Now it
Yes.
depends which field you are working in. Now if I'm going to talk about few examples, that will be definitely hospitality and tourism, but narrow
Hmm.
minded to events, because my
Yes.
PhD was in business events, MICE industry, and my research the key areas are surrounded by that. So I have a number of my journals which I always try to target which journal I'm going to publish with. But again, when the avenue touches actually, then we are free to publish anywhere. But again, now free to publish anywhere doesn't mean that whichever journal you see and you send the paper. We have to go through the different contents. We have a different rankings, we have different levels, we have different quality, etc, etc. So there are several things which we are going to discuss, and I believe this session will be quite informative and very interactive. And I believe that you can get at least some of the knowledge, and I will be very happy to share those. So the focus of this session will be surrounded by desk rejection,
Yes.
motivating or demotivating. Desk rejection reasons,
Yes.
tips and hints to avoid desk rejection, heads on, hands on to search the best journal in your field.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the very first point, desk rejection, is it the motivation or demotivation? Motivation. I believe it depends on the personality. It depends on the person itself. Actually, sometime
Hmm.
the very first, probably 4 years back, when I received the very first rejection, actually, I was like on a fire. Actually, I wanted to reply that person. Can you please justify on what basis you have
Yes.
rejected my paper? I was
Very
not
true.
happy. I was not ready to go through the comments even actually, which was detailed comments actually.
Yes.
If I just copy and paste to the Microsoft Word A4 size page, probably 3 to 4 pages.
Yes.
But when I discussed with my seniors, when I discussed with my professor, he said, "Welcome to the academia. Welcome to the research world,
This
where
is
the
the beginning. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Please go
that's
ahead.
the beauty. Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
that's the beauty actually, that welcome. Did you go through those comments? I said not really, because I'm angry actually. And
True.
I'm trying to search like what are the other content where I can find this EIC or the person who has sent me this email, the paper has been rejected actually. So
Yeah.
I was not agree. And most of us actually, if we talk about the early or the new researchers which are not up to the point, that is quite demotivational.
Yeah.
And the last point of that email, when we get the rejection email, last point of that email, this is not to demotivate you.
Oh.
Please don't stop considering our journal in future.
Hmm.
So I believe that we have to be very humble, that it's a motivational. Please take a time,
Yes.
go for vacation, or there are few things which you can do
Yeah.
to look after that. How it can be motivational, how there is an opportunity actually.
Yes.
without any reason. Actually, you have just got the journal and you have submitted the paper. You have
Yes.
to prove yourself through your manuscript that this manuscript really suits the particular journal which you have selected. Okay.
Yes.
A desk rejection means that editors or editor in chief reject a paper without consulting a reviewer.
True.
Desk rejection, they just went through thoroughly the paper and they said sorry. On what basis? So those comments actually which they are providing you, this paper is not suitable, this manuscript is not suitable for our journal.
Mm.
These are
Right.
few of the things you can consider and you can submit to a suitable journal. And
Yes.
few other things which you will know in a short while. This is not done for the papers that fail to meet the submission requirement, the criteria, hence cannot be accepted for the particular journal. Filtering out desk rejected is advanced, is common practice for both conferences and journals. I can give you an example. We have an Asia Euro conference. It's a baby of Taylor's University, Faculty of Social Sciences and Relation Management, the faculty I'm working with. Asia Euro conference, it's a world class international conference, but we are focusing on hospitality tourism. That's it. We don't accept the paper for business. We don't accept the paper for economics. We don't accept the paper for fishing industry. But we used to receive the paper. We cannot entertain those papers. If we start entertaining those all papers actually, then our conference won't be disciplined to hospitality tourism focus. It will be multidisciplinary conference.
Mm.
So we have
True.
our own limitation. The same way journals have their own limitations. What exactly the journals are looking into? Probably some of the journals are only they accept for qualitative papers. Some they accept for quantitative paper. Some are looking for some rich thing actually, something new. Or what are the points you have committed actually? Those mistakes you have committed. So the reasons the paper get rejected in the probably fourth or fifth slide you will know. We are sorry to inform you that editors feel that your current manuscript is not suitable as a research paper for our journal. Rejection. But whenever you see this, just close your laptop, close your computer. Don't read more. Don't read more.
Yes. It's painful. Yes.
Exactly. It's very painful, but it's not a dead end.
Yeah.
Your just paper has been rejected from one journal. That's it. Nothing else.
Mm.
We have
True.
thousands of journal we can look for, but make sure that whatever the journal you are selecting, it suits to your manuscript. And before that,
Mm.
you go through the journal's guidelines. You go through the journal's website. What is their aim? What is their objectives? What is their audience? What is their frequency of publications actually? Do they publish only once? Do they publish twice? Do they publish 4 times? Do they publish every month? So if every month means 12 different issues in a year, so they can accept probably maximum paper. If particular issue, like each issue is having 10 papers, so 10 times 12, 120 papers a year. That's great. But if the journal is having only 2 issues, now look at the
Yes.
competition. Thousands of paper are being submitted to tourism management, one of the best journal in tourism industry, tourism research industry, but they accept only 108 paper,
Mm.
108 paper out of those 1,000. It's not only 1,000, it's thousands with
Yes.
s actually. So look at the competition, look at the quality. And before I go further, I would like to share another example. I submitted one paper in 2019 October 2019. June
Oh.
2020 I received the comments,
Yes.
and I was given probably 6 weeks. And comments from the reviewer means the paper was not rejected, dress rejected. And
Yes.
both reviewer, it's a double blind journal, both reviewer gave me a good comments actually, and I was very happy because I can really work on those comments. And
Yes.
those were not that major actually. I worked on those comments within 3 to 4 weeks, but still I was not rushing to submit because I was
Yes.
having 6 weeks. They took like 4 plus 6 months, like almost 10 months to review, and I was given 6 weeks. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I was not out of my time. Actually, 6 weeks I had, and within 4 to 5 weeks I finished. But I read my paper again and again, and I gave the paper to my friend, to my colleague. Actually, can you please support me to go through the paper, that each and every point makes sense, each and every paragraph are connected, because I don't want to take any risk at this level, because after this the decision will be accepted, rejected, or more review, more comments. I submitted the paper, that revised paper, and I can see the status in the website on their portal. After 4 weeks I received more comments, and those comments were very very basic actually, like English grammar, probably very simple actually. And those comments we cannot tolerate actually when someone has reviewed at the very first time.
Yes.
So it means the second time someone who have reviewed my paper, it was the third reviewer, it was not the same reviewer, because the journal have a policy that when a journal receive the second version of the revised paper, this send back to the same reviewer, but reviewer can accept or can reject, that I want to review, I don't want to review. So probably the new reviewer reviewed my paper revised version again, and my paper was rejected. And I received the email from EIC that your paper is rejected. On what basis? Those minor comments actually, which I was ready to improve, which I have revised as well. But it happens. I wasted probably more than 16 months. My data was old, outdated, but it's fine. It's fine. I was demotivated for a time being. I discussed with my friends, I discussed with my colleague, I discussed with my professors. They said it's fine. This is not an end of the world. Just one journal was dealing this way to you, it doesn't mean actually you cannot question to them. Search for another journal, update your literature, update your paper, and submit again. I updated the literature, revised some of the literature, revised some of the methodology or glams here and there, submitted, and the paper was accepted instantly without any review. So that's a happiness actually. And within a 36 days. So I forgot about those 16 months actually, what the pain I was going through. Within 36 that the paper was accepted. Because of what? Because the first reviewer, second reviewer gave me the comments, and I revised the paper. Your paper is not a date. When you submit and you receive the comments, your paper is rejected. It's simply on hold. So my paper was on hold after that 16 months. From that journal, yes, dead end, thank you so much, no more. Or in your case, waiting to be reproposed somewhere else. But you have to make a bunch of decision now. I have taken the decision. What was the decision? Change the journal rather than arguing and sending to the same journal. And that journal will be taking again time, will be sending to the reviewer, etc., etc. So I decided that I have to send to other journal. And there are so many other decisions which you can consider, which you can look after, which can motivate you. So desk rejection is a motivating rather a demotivating. If you feel like that you are on a fire and you want to fight with it, or you want to write something, reply to that EIC's email, please don't. That doesn't matter. And they, I won't say on this portal that they don't care. But we have to be very, very practical actually. That when someone have rejected our paper on some basis and they gave the comments, it means it's fine. If they have written in that email that you can revise and can resubmit again to the journal as a new submission, it's fine, you can consider the same journal. But it is not the only journal. You can think of, you can search of any other good journal. suitable journal related to your manuscript. And how to find the suitable journal related to your manuscript, we are going to look in today's session. Tackle demotivation and remotivate yourself. Get up and do something new, something which you think of but you couldn't do, or something which make you happy. So buckle up, go out, go for vacation. Well, every time we can't go for vacation, and especially in this time of a pandemic, but there are so many good things which you can do. When I receive this type of emails, actually I just shut my laptop and I don't do, at least don't look at that email. I try to avoid. I go and watch some movie.
Yes.
I try to spend time with my family. I talk to my the beloved one, which makes me happy, which make me chilled up. So something which, like changing your mindset, moving your mind, moving your thoughts of that rejected paper. But it doesn't mean that you forget about it. You have to come back tomorrow and check. But when you are reading the email, it doesn't mean that you read and start working on the paper. No, at least 10 times. Print it and read each and every word, because each and every word of that email means something, because they have rejected your paper. On what ground, on what basis they have rejected? Check the comments, check the email, each and every word. Is it something wrong with the grammar? Is it something wrong with your theories? Is it something wrong with your methodology? Now, if something is wrong with your methodology, where exactly in the methodology? Your sampling, population, something wrong with your methods applied, data collected, where exactly is something wrong? And they have notified that. Or your paper doesn't make any sense, or your paper is very, very simple, or you have sent the paper to a journal. You are from like your field of study, a field of research is economics, and you are sending the paper to engineering journal. It doesn't match. Definitely that's rejection, or actually the paper will be rejected before it reaches to the EIC, because it doesn't match. Or if the paper is having more plagiarism rate, right, journal says, okay, we can accept or we can consider the paper with maximum of 5 to 8% of plagiarism, and your paper is having a 26% of plagiarism. There is someone, administrator, or probably research assistant or research associate, who is looking after that journal, who is receiving all the paper and running the that plagiarism test, Turnitin. And if the paper is 26% plagiarized, thank you so much, paper is rejected instantly. You cannot blame to the journal. And don't compare yourself. Don't compare, like we cannot compare the banana with the apple or apple with mango. Don't compare. You are having an experience of 5 years, someone is having an experience of 6 years. You can be better than them. So don't compare ever, actually. Don't ever compromise on this thing. You are better in your own way and you are learning. If you think that your paper are rejected, it's fine. The 4 to 5 of my first paper were rejected, actually. That's rejected, it's fine, actually. But yes, I was on fire. I was damn angry. Why? Whatever paper I'm submitting is being rejected, actually. Because I didn't understand the game, that how to select the journal. I was really selecting the high class journal, and they have their things to look after. Perfection is almost a myth. No one is a perfect, actually. Everyone have experienced this level, and the time have made them up to that mark. With the passage of time, you will be more than them. Push through the struggle. You won't get anything without a struggle, actually. And keep moving forward. I used to talk to my PhD students, and they said, the very first question, actually, one girl asked me, do I need to work on my PhD every day? I say, what do you do besides doing PhD? She's a full-time lecturer in Indonesia, registered for the PhD with Stelis University. Part-time PhD, a full-time PhD. What's happening? Don't know. I said, what is your first priority, PhD or job? Dilemma. Don't know what to answer. PhD is very important to continue that job or to move further, right? So we have to we have to work on the PhD every day. Even you write a sentence, you write a paragraph, or if you didn't start writing, at least you read. Make confirm, be loyal to yourself that you are reading at least one paper, one manuscript for your literature a day. And then slowly and gradually you have to start increasing the quantity and allocating the time accordingly, that how much time you have left and what step of the PhD you are on. So push through the struggles. You have to learn the things by reading new things. Okay, beside that, when you have found out, okay, this journal, I'm going to submit the paper. Did you read their paper, even those published paper? Not related to that particular topic which you are looking forward. Some other, just randomly, just select any of the issue, any of the volume and go through. It will give you some idea that what type of paper this journal accepts. Be open about demotivation, rejection, it's okay. Talk to as many as you want. Talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues, talk to your professors, talk to your academician, whoever you meet. But someone who know what is the research, what is the publication, what is the journal article. If I talk about my research to my father, who is an MBBS doctor, medical doctor, he doesn't know. Because he is a practitioner. He doesn't know much about the research. Yes, research is something, yes. But what exactly this journal and all those things you are talking about, I have to give the entire background. So if I talk to my colleague or if I talk to my professor, yes. Why exactly that paper was rejected, they can. And when we talk to several people, the air has to go away. We discover inspiration by talking to several people and be open. When we talk to several people, actually, we try to get rid of that. Fine, that paper is rejected. It's fine, the paper is rejected, but what are the things we have to look after? This rejection reasons, most important slide for this session. What are the reasons the paper get rejected on? And after this slide, we will move to some other portal, which I wanted to discuss with you guys. Subject may be out of scope and not suitable for the journal and readership. What is the audience of that journal? And what is the subject, what is the discipline, what is the scope, what is the focus of that particular journal? Hospitality and tourism journals, there are more than 100 journals actually, but not all journals are looking after that new technology being used in the restaurant industry. We have a particular journal, latest technology, they talk about the latest technology. So we have to be very careful. Literature review and theories, number of theories we are actually, when we are drafting our literature and when we are creating our hypothesis, we have to support those hypothesis literature on the basis of a particular theories. There are several theories are available, and theories are quite ancient, quite old, 100 years or more than 100 years old theories are available. Like if we talk about Maslow hierarchy of needs, if we talk about several consumer behavior theories in tourism industries, we have talked about the literature. We came up with those variables, dependent, independent. We showed the relationship. but we didn't talk about the theory, or we forgot, or we avoided, or we didn't know. We didn't include that theory. Without that theory, how can you go further? Your framework doesn't stand at all. Two basic research. When you use, if we talk about the quantitative, you use the analytical tools, but very basic actually, just descriptives. Or even though if you are using SPSS, but now we have a MOS. So there are several journals actually which ask you, even though I received the reviewer comments, that why you use SCM. What is the need of using SCM for this research? We have to justify that why not SPSS, why SCM actually? Poor methodology, small sample size, poor statistical analysis. What is the population and what sample size you have taken? On what basis you have taken that particular sample size? If population is 10,000, there are different rule of thumb actually. 10% of that population can be our sample size. 10,000, 1,000 can be our sample size, but 1,000 is also too much. What are the other rules of thumb? I cannot say just 150, 200, 250. If 250, yes, it's fine. But we have to justify that how exactly this 250 can represent the entire population. If we can't, that's a major issue in your methodology. That you are talking, you have received the response from those 250 participants, but this is a response for only those 250, not for 10,000. If you want to justify, then you have, if you don't want to compromise with this issue, you have to justify this thing. Poor statistical analysis, when there is a need of qualitative, I use the quantitative. So actually some of my PhD students used to ask me, sir, this is the quantitative or qualitative? I say, I don't know. Until unless we discuss, we brainstorm actually what exactly is the aim. But before the aim, what is the problem? Because every research starts with a problem. What problem we are looking after? When we have the clear problem, that this problem, the solution for this problem we are looking after, that exactly is the aim. That is the purpose of your study. So problem statement, aim, objective, hypothesis, research question, everything have to be linked. And make sure that it makes sense. That's why we are adding the different pieces to create that particular part of the manuscript. Discrepancy of authors or the institutions. Discrepancy, I believe this is very clear. Conflict of interest not declared. Number of good journals actually confirms that do you have any conflict? And most of the journal actually, when you read the paper actually, if there are 4 authors, what was the role of each author for that manuscript? You cannot add on, okay, he's my friend, but you have to justify what is his role, which part of the paper, which part of the manuscript he have worked on, or the ethical committee permission was not taken. In social sciences, it doesn't actually, it's not that important because we don't deal it's not that, don't want to use the word of dangerous actually, but it's not that harmful actually. But the consent has been taken that if I am reaching a participant to and want to ask him to fill up this questionnaire, survey questionnaire for my research, making sure that he is happy, he is ready, and on that consent he has signed it. An ethical committee permission from the ethical committee of your institution, university, etc., association, or whatever. Especially in a medical, or if you talk about the sciences or natural studies, actually this is the most important, very crucial element actually. Without this you cannot go further. Informed consent of subject not taken as mentioned earlier. Single case report not making a useful point. The target journal may have similar research papers published already or already in the process of getting published. Now currently we have like it's a fever of COVID-19 pandemic. Every topic, every paper we have to bring. I'm editing a book currently. We have received 27 papers from different authors and I submitted to the publisher. Please don't ask me who's the publisher. They said, okay, but can we bring the taste, the touch up of COVID-19, at least few new papers, or in the same papers we can add on because it is the need of the time and that will boost up the sale of that particular the new book. So we have to check what are the latest issues has been done, what are the latest paper has been published in that journal which you are targeting, or the plagiarism report which I have discussed earlier. Actually, not every journal have confirmed that what up to what percentage the plagiarism will be accepted. But of course, we have to be very, very loyal to ourselves. Actually, we cannot copy everything. If you like something, if you want that content in your paper, you can. But there is something which is called APA, Harvard, etc., citations, referencing. Instructions to authors are not followed strictly. The author's guide, the rules and regulation, the template by the journal. Figures are too low resolution or tables are too complicated. This can be, or these two things also can be the reason of desk rejection. That you were so in rush that you didn't care about the instruction given by EIC for the particular journal on the journal's website. You have to respect. That's why we used to say, don't rush. If you rush, you will receive the rejection very early. So try to avoid the rejection by following different things. These instructions, author's instructions are given for authors. If we are not following, we have to see the consequences. And then we cannot blame them. Case reports lack proper documentation and follow-up information. If it's a case-based, or the things are not making, or things are not connected, actually, the pieces are not connected to each another. Discussion and conclusion not answer the question which were raised in aim and objective. So conclusion and discussion is talking about something else actually. What was the purpose of the study you have started the study with? What was the problem? Did you solve the problem? How many hypotheses you had? 4 or 5. What happened with those hypotheses? Rejected, accepted, how many, etc. And under the discussion actually, if you are having the implications, what implications are those? Managerial, for academics, for industry. It's better to have it under different headings actually, subheadings, and to the point. Check the author's guideline, or if you are not clear with the author's guideline, go to the paper published in that journal and read those. How the earlier author have written those things, and then you can look after. Some of the journal used to ask for the abstract of 150 maximum words. Some of the journals are asking structured abstract, structured within those 5 different headings. What is the methodology? What is the aim? What is the literature? What is the conclusion? What is the latest finding of this? And so on. There is a mismatch between statement made in the different section of the paper. And also there is not a similarity of the words. Somewhere you are saying human, somewhere you are saying people. Somewhere I'm saying tourists, somewhere I'm saying travelers. Well, in a bigger picture, it looks same, but actually it's not. And you said something else earlier in the literature, but when it came to the discussion or conclusion, because in the conclusion, we have to relate back to the literature. If it's not matching, it can be also a problem and paper can be rejected. On reviewing the manuscript, editor feels the author have not worked hard enough to improvise the presentation of the data. Presentation of the data. We got the findings, we got the statistics after running those analytical tools, different tastes by using the SPSS, SCM, MOS, whatever. We got those tables, but we didn't explain those tables nicely. We didn't elaborate more on those findings. That's also issue. Or you have explained, but not everything in detail. Author need to revise and re-revise as many as time required to get the flawless draft of the manuscript. And over here, you can use the different tools. After this slide, I will be sharing another the tool which really helped me throughout my PhD and nowadays during my for my different manuscripts actually. And I stopped sending the paper for proofreading. English is not my first, it's not my mother tongue either. It's not my first language even. So still, we can't write. We can write, but we cannot write perfectly. There is always issue with the comma, with the apostrophe, with the full stop, with the different things. So there are different tools. Forget it actually. We are not here to improve our English. We are here to tell the story. So storytelling, you are confident about your research. And with the passage of time, slowly and gradually, you won't be perfect, but you will be improvised. References are not set as per the journal's style. I like APA, but journal doesn't care what I like. Journal wants the references to be set in Harvard. I have to follow. Otherwise, can be one of the major reason to reject the paper. Poor language or many spelling or grammatical expressions and etc. issues also can lead to the paper rejected by EIC. So one of the research actually I was searching. I was doing some research a few days back for this particular session. Then what are the major reasons actually? And I found one nice article which represents, which shows this particular graph, that what are the major reasons due to the paper get rejected. That's rejected actually. Can you see these slices? The three big slices are orange color, the blue color, as well as the grayish color. Blue color is poor statistics or not new information. Not new information, is just repetitive, the same thing. What exactly is your latest contribution? That is the thing most of the journals are looking after. If you are just repeating the same thing, doesn't matter. You just want to change the data because this model was run in Pakistan. Now we want to run in Malaysia. Yes, possible that can be a new thing, but not only the new data. You have to change several things. In the blue color, probably poor references, poor languages, similar papers, poor methodology, plagiarism, etc. So over here, we have cache approach. Cool down. When you receive the email, when you receive that letter mentioning that extremely sorry, at this moment your paper has been rejected because of this reason. After those reasons, please don't stop considering our journal for your future submissions. At that time, probably you feel the best thing to do with the rejection letter is to tear off or to put on the fire. Tear, throw in the toilet, flush it. But that's not a solution actually. You have to cool down by doing something which makes you feel happy. Analyze the letter. Read it, but not immediately. Read it, but not that moment. Tomorrow, day after, and then see what exactly has been mentioned in that letter. What are the glitches? What are the avenues of improvements? Consider options. What are the options available? Revise the paper. Don't revise the paper. Submit instantly without revising anything to a new journal. Fine. And hats on. Decision tree. In the earlier slide, I was talking about different options. So, what options do you have when your paper is rejected? Decision one. Have you understand the editor's decision? Yes or no? If you don't understand, you can write an email, but not immediately. But you can write an email in a nicer way that I don't understand what and due to what reasons my paper has been rejected. That's it. But don't we cannot be in a harsh words. Actually, we have to be nice, and it's give and take, simple. And if you understand the editor's decision, is it the decision justified? We always said no. Do you have the good reason, evidence for your view? I won't say that you fight back, but if you really think that you have strong evidences that on what basis your paper has been rejected, this is not nice. You can write to them, but my advice is go for the option 3. Can you revise your paper? If yes, would you like to revise your paper and submit to a new journal? If not, would you like to try publish the paper unchanged, without changing, without considering the comments from that journal which have rejected our paper? So this is yes, no, action 1, action 2, decision 1, decision 2, decision 3 are shown in this tree. And then at the end, you can see there are option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Submit to revise to the resubmit, revise to the same journal. If it is mentioned in that email that you can submit, but as a new submission. If it is not mentioned, please avoid, don't submit. Nothing is going to happen with your paper in that journal. Option 2, submit revise to another journal. We have plenty of journal, but making sure that you are selecting the suitable journal. Submit unchanged to another journal without changing anything, submitting anywhere else. Publish to another outlet, not in journal. You can publish in industry reports. You can cut down. You can come different reports or probably newspaper articles out of your manuscript and can publish in a newspapers. So different avenues are available. You can present in the conference, and subsequently your paper will be published in the conference proceeding if the conference accept your paper. There is always if. Discard the paper. I'm done with that paper. It's already very old. I don't want to stress myself more. I don't want to put extra efforts, extra time on this paper. Whatever the times and efforts is required to improvise this paper, I can come up with a new paper. Forget it. Thank you. Option 6, the last option. We think of that option very first, but that should be your last option. Appeal to the same journal who have rejected your paper. Extremely sorry, not happy. Please justify more on what basis you have rejected my paper. Tips and tricks. Journal search. I will be spending 15-20 minutes on a few portals of WS, Scopus after these few slides, that how to search a suitable journal for our paper. Brainstorming and delegation of tasks. How many authors do you have in your team actually? Or you are the only single, you and your army, that's it. Or I always work with the 2 or 3 persons. discuss, brainstorming actually. Because when we discuss, if it's possible, record that session so everyone can see again and again, and delegate the job. Who will be doing what exactly, and who will be the corresponding author. And it is very important to decide who is the first author, who is the second, third, the sequence of the author also, because we don't want any conflict, we don't want any issue later once the paper is ready. Getting resources and sparing time. How much resources, what resources we are required. Using resources, how to utilize those resources actually. We have the resources, but I don't know. I know I have the SCM, but I don't know how to run. It's a problem. Step check whatever we have done, making sure that you are meeting again and checking that you are on the same the right path. Third, I check. Once something is ready, the draft is ready, and you 3 or 4 author already read, and you seems like you think that it's perfect, it's good. No, give the paper to any stranger who doesn't know about your research, who is a researcher but who doesn't know about your research, because we human cannot see our own mistakes, simple mistakes, the spelling errors. Editing the template, the last option, you have already decided the which journal. So sometime my student used to ask which journal to publish actually. Once the paper is ready, that's the worst thing ever actually. Don't select the journal once the paper is ready after spending of 4 or 5 months actually. You select the journal first, that which journal you are targeting, and then start working on the paper. And don't select one journal, you must have 2 3, at least 3 journals, in case first doesn't work, second doesn't work, third, etc. Plan B, plan C. And then the editing is the last option. Whatever the journal we have selected, we are going to put in their template, we are going to follow the author's guideline, submit. But don't rush, take your time as much as you can, because the journal submission doesn't have any deadline. So why exactly we are rushing to submit? And then the submission happens. Not sure how many of you are using the Grammarly. This is the Grammarly tool actually which I was talking about. It really made my life easier in terms of grammatical errors, in terms of contextual error, in terms of spelling, in terms of those commas, full stops, etc., etc. Also, it's replaced with a new version of the sentence, that how I can improvise my sentence. We always have an extra words. Due to that, that particular paragraph looks huge actually. We have extra. Use the or rather than if you. I didn't know actually. The Grammarly suggests. I use it. So I'm stopping for a moment, and I want to show you the another document. Is it still shared, Dr. Heather?
Yes, it's visible. Please go ahead.
Okay. As you can see, this is one of my draft actually. So many errors, as you can see, all issues 117. Correctness, clarity, engagement, delivery. So over here we have so many options actually. What exactly is the problem with this? Replace with this version. So it's revising my particular that 2 lines paragraph. Done. This made my life easier actually, and I believe this can be a beautiful tool. Not sure how many of you are using this, and it's free available, but the free has some limitations. And if you are buying, then definitely you have a full version, such as it's not sport tourism, it's sports tourism. And if I submit this draft manuscript in this order to a journal, probably it can be a severe issue. The very first word of my draft was wrong. So sparing some time over here and correcting this draft can support, and it can give extra value to my manuscript. So Grammarly is not a only tool, but I'm familiar with this and I'm using this very often because it's really a beautiful tool. Also, same time you can check the plagiarism rather than putting your draft again and again to Turnitin or any other plagiarism tool. It shows 29% plagiarized. This only 5-page document. This is a severe issue. So simultaneously, we can change, we can redraft our sentences, our paragraphs to avoid this plagiarism, that huge, that high percentage. So this is Grammarly, which I wanted to introduce with. Coming back to the slides, how many journals are available and how easy it is to find the journal, that which journal should I publish with. There are the number of publishers available, but the 4 largest are Elsevier, Springer, Vlay, and Tillotson Francis. In total, if we see, 5,000 scientific journals publishers are available in the market, and they are having 30,000 plus journals, scholarly journals, and millions of papers, articles are being published every year. And this figure is outdated actually. This is for last, like, I got this figure few years back, but look at this. Every year this figure is upgrading, increasing by 3%, 4%, and I believe now it should be more huge. Here I wanted to show you this, the Bales list. Making sure that whatever the paper you, whatever the journal you have selected, you go to this website and check who is the publisher of that particular journal you have selected. If the publisher falls in this list, registered on this website, please forget about that publisher. If that journal which you have selected is on this website, forget about that journal. These all are predatory journals, and this doesn't give you any value. You are going to pay a huge amount, and paper with lots of problems, with a poor methodology, poor hundreds of grammatical mistakes, paper can be published overnight, and you will be ending up with paying few $100s. But actually it doesn't give the value, it doesn't give you the positive value to your personality, to your resume, to your profile. It gives the negative value actually. We don't want to have anything negative if we can't have a positive. It's fine. And it's better stop publishing, it's better not publishing rather than publishing with these paid journals. So this is fantastic website tool where we can see number of journals. You can search about the journal which you are going to publish with. If that journal is listed on this website, please avoid. Then how to find the journal, how to find the suitable journal for your publication? There are few ways actually. Let me introduce this Web of Science. Probably few of you are aware of, and you guys are already visiting this website. So you for this website you have to create your account, your login, and once you are on this, you just click that search results, and you will be on this page, and this shows without any filter almost 24,000 plus journals. But which field we want to publish the paper with actually? If I'm working with the tourism, if I'm working with the events, if you are publishing in economics, if you're publishing in social sciences or whatever. So we have Different filters over here. Web of Science, you want to see the ESCI Emerging Social Science Index journals or the Social Science SSCI. So when you filter it, the number of journals will go down. I want to see the ESCI journals in business collection. Further category, I want to put tourism. Hospitality and leisure. Emerging, these are the few filters which I have applied. Hospitality, leisure, sports and tourism journals only. So out of those 24,000, I got only 78 results. So these are the journals which are focusing on this. But 78 is also quite huge actually. We can put more filter on. If you want to put the language, yes, of course, I want to publish only in English rather than French. And frequency, as I was talking about, how frequent that journal is being published. Bi-monthly, like within a month, twice. Article by article. Like once you submit, it will go through the review, and once the paper is satisfied, once the paper is confirmed that it's accepted, immediately will be published online. Immediately. So they don't go through the issue by issue. Annually, only once a year. Fortnightly, irregularly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual. So there are different ways. A journal citation, yes, 2020. Open access, if you want to see the open access journals. So there are different filters actually. You can play around with this tool to find out. Now I just put listed in directory of open access journals, and ESCI business collection, I got only one journal. This is the best journal to publish the tourism papers. But tourism management is one of the leading journal. It is not that easy to publish with because their requirement is really high. They receive thousands of paper and publish only hundreds of paper, then competition is quite huge, and I can't compromise with that they take few months and after that my paper is rejected. And beside that, we have Scopus. You can go this to Smago Journal and Country Rank, SJR. You don't need to log in for this, and you can find out the journal you want to find, such as through areas, business management and accounting, because in journal they are showing thousands of journals actually, but we want to limit our search actually. So categorize here tourism, leisure, hospitality journals, and now I have total of 123. These all journals are Scopus, so minimum Scopus index. And if you want to see the regions also, the which region they are getting published from, or all type. Now 123 is all type, journal, book series, conferences, etc, etc. I want only journal. Now I got only 118 journals over here. Also I want to see the latest 2019 journals. Fine. Okay, I got see Q1 to Q4 journals. And as well as on the home page, you can see this is the journal such as tourism management. H index is 179, and the total documents downloaded, total references, total citation, etc. If you go further here down, whatever the journal you have listed, by using this search engine, you can find out. But on the Web of Science, I want to show you something else. Rather than using these filters and going through the list of journal, you have the manuscript of or the draft ready. At least the title is ready. So we can say, yes, find the match. And I want to copy this title, and it can help me. And we can copy paste the title of our draft in this and find journal. So it can help us to find the relevant journal to my title. So in total, we got 36 results. So 36 journal I can publish or I can consider for my this paper. But 36 is also too huge actually. 36 is also quite higher. So we can now put the filters on actually. I want to see only ESCI and only in a business collection and categories tourism, because those 36 can be from any field. But when we put these filters, okay, if I avoid this, so the best journal, emerging market, finance and trade. I was talking about tourism and hospitality. As you can see on the title, economic impact assessment. It's more towards the finance as well as the economic, rather than we talk about the tourism actually. And also over here, there is an error because I'm selecting the business collection, because sometimes the hospitality and tourism is parked under social science, sometimes it's parked under art and humanities, sometimes it's parked under business faculty as well. So we can play around in a different manner, and it can give you the list of different journals actually. So here I have shown you this website, Web of Science, how to find a suitable journal on Scopus as well. And with that, I'm done with my presentation. I hope you have got at least some of the valuable points. And there are few QR codes how you can get connected to me. I will be sharing my slides with Dr. Heather also. And now we can start the discussion and answer to questions which you have raised earlier or in the chat, because I didn't check the chat at the moment.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Heather.
Yes, wonderful presentation, Dr. Jeetesh Kumar. It was so lovely to hear you. And that's why I did not interrupt in the presentation, because I was totally enjoying it. It was so wonderful. And I wish that I could have you during my MS or my PhD, so that I could know so many important things in advance. That is the beauty of when you listen to the expert. They will tell you the tips and tricks which they have learned with the ore of years, maybe for 1 decade. So they will just squeeze everything and they will just tell you in a nutshell that how they went through the process and what they learned, and they will just tell you within the 1 hour 2 hour presentation. So that's what I was looking at, and it was so lovely and interesting and occupying presentation, that I was just listening that how beautifully you articulated the things, and then you linked the things, followed up by your search engine process. Because since the beginning of your presentation, I was getting the question by question that how to select the suitable journal, how to select the suitable journal. So I was seeing, I was watching that thing, that people are so keen to learn about that. How can they find a suitable journal for that? And the beautiful website which you have shown to them for the predatory journals, what are the blacklisted journals over there, how can they avoid it. Actually yesterday in my class I discussed that one worst article which was published and which was available on Google, and I asked the students that how about this research article. So when they said that it was good, and that then I said that it's the worst article I have ever gone through, and because of these reasons. And then they asked me the question that, sir, how did you find that it was a worst? What is the criterion thing? Then I said that tomorrow you will come to know about it. because the publisher, the journal, they are blacklisted, they are of no worth. So really, it was so good. Even I'm seeing that a lot of people, they are just commenting very informative presentation. Thank you so much for this wonderful tools and techniques you have mentioned, particularly the grammar one, which you have shown on that, and the hands-on practice, that how you can go for the search engine, and particularly after search engine, how can you put the filters on that. So most of the
Um,
students, they are not aware of it. Yes.
Actually, sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Heather. Thank you so much for concluding. I'm sure you are going to compile in a nicer way. But actually, there is a one thing which I
Yes.
wanted to show you.
Yes,
Show
please.
the all the students. Actually, let me share my slides again. Not the slide. It's
Yes.
from. Is it visible now?
uh,
Yes.
yes, please.
Okay. So this is like one of the journal which I have confirmed that I'm going to publish with event management. So
Okay.
go to the event management web like journal, and then please spare some time, like whatever the journal you have selected, spare some time, go around. Actually, even though we don't care actually who is the EIC, what is his name, but it's good to know actually. So, and the aim and scope actually, rather than only searching in those web of science, the search engine, that which one is the suitable journal, you can go in a detail of that particular journal and check that what is the scope actually normally they look after. Like event management, this is the one of the best journal, or I can say I give my priority to publish in this journal, because this is niche journal for my field, my research area. And this is focusing on event management, internationally editorial board, and so on, and related to the mice industry, meetings, incentive, conferences, and exhibitions, and all those things whatever I have compiled in my throughout my presentation. And I just went through few of your questions, actually didn't check all in detail, but the few questions are actually the answer is here. If you visit the journal's website and go through, not only going through the author's guideline, go through the other things also, like what is the aim and scope, what is
Yes.
the editorial board, who exactly is the editorial board, who are they from, peer reviewer policy, actually what is their policy, is it a single blind, is it double blind, triple blind, or they don't send the paper for review even. What happens in predatory journal, most of the time, when we submit today, tomorrow paper will be published, and they promise to you, and they are just waiting only the payment to be transferred, that's it. Once the payment is transferred, paper is published. But we don't want that thing. Ethics statement also, that why and what type of ethics they are looking forward. Actually, I was talking about those ethical concerns in my presentation. So the same way, committee of publication ethics, this is most of the major, the good journal are looking after this scope actually, and we have to be very very careful about it actually. If we don't follow, the paper will be rejected instantly actually. And then table of content and the full text article, just go to any, if you want to go to the very first or the latest issue, that's good. But whatever the issue is available, whatever the article is available for you, just download and go through, just read once, twice, thrice. And then the indexing also, I don't care, especially I don't care actually the what is the indexing actually, but it is the need of the time. The different institutions follow different types of indexing actually. Like most of the Indian institutions in India, actually they go through the ABDC list actually,
Yes.
that Australian list. Some go through the Q1 to Q4 list. We
Yes.
talk about ESCI, SSCI, Scopus. So minimum paper is Scopus actually. Minimum paper, the minimum criteria for the journal I'm looking after to publish is Scopus actually. Why Scopus? Because without Scopus, the journal doesn't confirm that, they don't give the surety that this journal is really following those reviews, those policies or not. Because due to, Scopus is a body actually which confirm that the journal take care of the quality of those papers actually. If they don't follow, they will be out of scopus.
True.
So this is like one of the criteria actually when you are selecting uh, the journal to publish with. And also when I was showing you this the Web of Science or the Scopus websites, actually it all about your experience. It's all about your exploration. Spare some time. So probably after this session or tomorrow or this weekend, actually just go and visit these two websites and try to like play around with this. You get this number of journals and try to just paste any type of title if you have published earlier, or your PhD title, your any published article or something what you have at the moment in the hand. Just put what are the journals are coming on those. Remember those when I put those my articles title, actually 36 there was a list of 36 journal, but those 36 journals are not related to my field. I have to shortlist more by putting more filters, or I was choosing the wrong filter. It shouldn't be the business, it should be the arts and humanities, or it should be the social sciences, because tourism is always parked under different phenomena at the different part of the world. So these all are the things. And thank you so much, Dr. Heather. Give back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for nicely elaborating everything. This is what the people they have asked in the question answer session. That most of the time, what is the new criteria for selecting any journal and things like that. So you have summarized everything in this one talk, which you have concluded. Very wonderful. I really like the way you answer for that. And there are some very simple questions which I would like to ask you. The
Please.
Asim Aziz is the student. He's asking one question that can we publish more than one paper in one journal?
Yes, why not?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. If we publish one paper in journal, can we send multiple paper at the same time to the same journal?
Of course, can. Who stops
Yeah.
you? Making sure,
Yes.
okay, over here I want to elaborate that you have a one journal, one paper you have sent to journal A. Please don't send to journal B the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Simultaneously. Yes.
Exactly. Because then it's a problem. Actually, it happens. It
Yeah.
happens that the both journals have the same reviewer, because the
Yes.
world is very very small actually, and that happened to me actually. I'm reviewing for so many journals, and I
Yes.
rejected the paper for one journal, and
Okay.
in the next 2 months I received the same paper actually from another journal. And
Right.
i I mean, I was not that 100% sure that it's same paper actually, but we have a feeling that I have read this paper actually, and I
Yeah.
always keep a record what I have reviewed.
Yes.
So that really helped me over there actually. And our reviewing, whatever we are reviewing, we have a record actually on
Right.
Orchid, on different online portals also. So please avoid sending the same paper to different journals at the same time, but you can send the different paper to the same journal at the same time, no issue.
Yeah, wonderful. The another question by the same person that can we resubmit a rejected paper in the same journal?
Before answering to this question, actually I want to add on some more to the first question, that
Yes.
don't don't submit the two or three or more than one paper to the same journal at the same time. This is, there's no harm, but it is not advisable, because you are publishing to the journal A very first time. You don't know how long it takes, what type of the things they follow. So try to publish with the different journals at the same time. And also it won't be that good in your resume when you have a published number of papers in the same journal. It's so looking at the bigger picture, we must have the list of journals that we have published with a B C D E F G, rather than only ABC. Okay. And
Yeah.
your second question was the paper rejected and submitted to the same journal. Yes,
Yes.
when I was talking about the decision tree, option C, sorry, option 6, the last option. Yes, you can submit to the same journal, but you have to take few decisions submitting without correction, submitting with correction,
Yes.
submitting, or you don't want to submit, but first you want to argue that why you rejected my paper.
Yes.
Okay, and also you have to read that comments or read that email nicely, that did
Yeah.
they advise that you can resubmit as a new entry.
Yeah. Very well.
Okay, now this process is over. We are not going to consider that this is ongoing entry of your ongoing paper review or something. This is over.
Yeah.
New entry, new code, new thing will be considered actually when we are going to submit. But this subject to actually, subject to the email which we have received.
Yes.
But
True.
my personal opinion, don't, because when
Okay.
when I consider, I always consider the highest journal,
Yes.
Q1 A category actually, and I
Yeah.
know what is the level of my paper. Actually, it cannot go through. It will be desk rejected, or
Mm.
if it goes through the desk, actually, it will be rejected by the three different reviewer. But I'm
Yes.
very happy, and I always, eagerly wait for that rejection email from those reviewer. Why? Because they are giving me fantastic reviews, fantastic
True.
comments to improvise my paper, and then I go with the second best journal.
Yes.
Second
That's
best
true.
journal either accept the paper after, like, because I have improvised my paper after having those beautiful comments by those experts. If they accept instantly, but normally journal don't accept instantly actually the best journal. Even the Q2 or those B category journals, it has to go through the reviewer, but reviewer cannot reject because the paper has some quality, some strength.
True.
So they will give the comments, but it can be a minor comment, even though major comments, but that's the part of the job. We are
Yes.
playing this game.
Yes, very nicely said, Dr. Jatish. This is what we say, that the hard you get the comments, the more refinement will be there in the paper, because it will be rejected from this journal, but it will be easily accepted in the other journal because it has already been improved. This is called, whenever we get the rejection, no doubt we are human, we get the emotional and we have a hard feelings, but no doubt when we incorporate the changes, that beautify our paper, and actually that is a kind of guidance for us how to do the things properly and more in a better way. So this is how actually one polish it works. Okay, there is a Dr. Jatish, in Pakistan we follow the impact factor JCR list, mostly the journal we pick from that, and secondly we follow the scopus, and the third option we have is the HEC recognized journals. So there
Okay.
is one question by our MPhil student Zahiruddin. He wants to ask that, does publication in a journal which have no impact factor have any worth in research world? And is it permissible to a MPhil or PhD scholar to publish his or her work in that journal?
Thank you so much. Very beautiful question, actually. But my
Yes.
dear, one thing you have to understand, what exactly is the impact factor? Okay. What exactly
Yes.
these journals are saying that we have an impact of 3.1, 2.1, 2.9, 1.0. What exactly this is? This the impact is actually, and that how this impact is being calculated actually. So we are going back to the basics actually, that
Yes.
how valuable that journal is, how many people are reading, how many people are citing, how many people are downloading the papers from that journal. One thing, so that really, creates the impact factor for that journal for that particular year.
Yes.
Okay,
True.
now the journal is in, that's why my idea or my thinking is actually, I don't go for the impact factor or anything actually. When I'm selecting the journal, that it suits beautifully to that particular title, or the article, the manuscript which I have drafted, that it fits nicely to that journal focus actually.
Yes.
Okay, and the literature what I'm using also should come from those few journals actually. I cite those journals actually, because if I'm talking about ecotourism, I have to focus on those journals which are talking about sustainable tourism, sustainability, ecotourism, and so on. That can be the best journal ABCD Q1 to Q4, or it can be even a no scopus journal.
Yeah.
Because when we start the journal, it doesn't have any impact. Everything starts with the scratches.
True.
With the passage of time, it build up the impact and so on. So my advice to you is, of course, we have to follow our requirement. I'm sure MPhil or PhD students have to publish at least one or two, or it depends on the institution's requirement, and they have to publish an SSCI, ESCI, Scopus, minimum two Scopus. Otherwise, you won't be graduate. Oh,
True.
okay. So this is like our requirement for our PhD students, right? So
Yeah.
where they have to publish minimum two paper in Q1, otherwise they won't be graduate on time.
Yeah.
So this is like,
Right.
the one of the hardest requirement.
Yes.
Otherwise, every second person can like finish the things on time. But publication, because we are going through that process and we are making sure that they get used to the entire process, because
Yes.
at the end of the day they are going to do the same job, and we don't want that they face that problem after they are fresh PhD.
Very right. Very wonderful. You explain it. This is what actually we polished during when I was in Malaysia in University of Malaya. They were grilling us in that way that you have to publish before your proposal defense and your candidature, etc. So that at that time we were very annoyed with that thing, that why we are asked about to publish first, because they said let the world recognize your work and then we will recognize it. It is actually our training, that how to publish properly, how to make sure that you are an established researcher. So that is actually a process of polishing, and we learn through this process actually. Yes, wonderful. You have explained. There is one another question by MPhil student, that is Numan Abbas, that when we address any local issue or problem, then what is the chance of publishing in Impact Factor Journal or other recognized international journal?
Definitely, definitely there are higher chances actually. Now, but it's subject to, actually your question, I can answer in a different ways. It's subject to, there are some journals which are very European focused. You, from the title itself, it's mentioned it's a European. The
Yes,
first word of that journal, of that title is European. So they are just focusing on European issues,
yes,
European issues only. But there are so many journals which don't focus on Europe, you don't focus on Asia. They are open for worldwide issues.
yeah,
Okay,
very well.
so you, when you are selecting, okay, suppose if you are addressing the local issue of COVID-19, what's the situation of COVID-19 in Pakistan? Okay,
Yeah,
now COVID-19 is a worldwide issue. Okay, COVID-19, but you want to showcase the Pakistan situation at the moment. You
yeah,
are free to publish anywhere, because it's a worldwide issue, and number of researchers are publishing their opinion, their situation from different countries. This is one criteria. The second thing is, there is some issue which is only we are facing in Pakistan, and then
yes,
why the other international journals should address, actually they welcome actually, because you are the audience. That's why, because when you have selected the journal, it means that you have already read their paper, or
yes,
you have already cited their journal. And when we are submitting our paper, ultimately your paper, at the end of the day, your paper will be submitted, published, and available online.
yeah,
Okay, and
yeah,
available online, and look at your follower actually, how many people are going to read that paper. Okay, indirect marketing of that journal.
yeah, very
Okay,
right.
so
Yes,
so definitely, but of course we have to focus on what is the scope focus. When I mentioned that it's a European journal, actually there are a number of journals which only focus on European issues. If I submit the Malaysian restaurant industry issue to that journal, they won, even though that journal is talking about European restaurants and so on, but they are talking about European restaurants, not a Malaysian restaurant, not the Asian or worldwide restaurants.
yes.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, wonderful. Very elaborative answer, Dr. Jatish. Okay, the same Noman Abbas is asking another question, that while responding a particular journal remarks time and again, since we will be in 2 3 months corresponding with the same journal, So if some other scholar may have addressed the same issue and if it is published, then what will be the status of my work?
I'm. Is it in the same journal or different journal? All right,
Uh,
anything.
okay. Yes.
Um, actually, that's a game.
Yes. True.
It doesn't mean that someone has stolen your idea. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean someone has stolen your idea, but
Yes.
we all are unique. But from the different part of the world, if someone else is thinking in the same way, okay. But I ask you, before I answer to your question, I ask you. You said that while you are addressing the comments for your paper, and simultaneously someone has submitted the paper and published. Now I'm asking you, while I'm working on my paper, I came up with this problem from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Someone else, another lecturer, researcher, is working from Langkawi, another part of Malaysia, on the
Yes.
same problem, Malaysian context. And I
Yes.
don't know, he doesn't know me.
Yes. True.
And also it happens that we both are submitting to the same journal.
Yeah. A lot of
Possible.
coincidence.
It happens,
Yes.
but
Yes.
doesn't mean that the title can be the same, doesn't mean the way of writing, doesn't mean the entire story is the same.
Yes. The methodology would be not same. The respondent will not be the same. The unit of analysis. So many things which
So
will
there
differ.
are,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Yes.
so actually it doesn't matter, and I believe actually luck also works sometime.
Yes.
So that
Very right.
how lucky we are, because sometimes those small things actually which we don't notice even, which can be the bigger challenge for
Yes.
us.
Yeah. Very right. Okay, there is Dr. Jatish, one another question, very interesting question. That since you have mentioned in your presentation that once you are finalized with the paper, then searching a journal. So they are asking you that according to you, one should do what thing? Should they select the journal first, or they should select the problem first, do it, and then select a journal?
See, simultaneously, problem and journal should be the simultaneously selected actually, because everything
Okay.
has to start with the problem. You cannot select the journal and then search for the problem. What can be the problem suitable to this journal? No, problem is always first. Okay, so
Okay.
you
One.
have something, some focus, some purpose actually. All right, and then it's not okay. You have a problem and then start searching for the journal. No, at
Yes.
least some rough draft of will at least abstract half page, one paragraph. That what is
Yes.
the page? Because we think in a different way, we write in a different way. So whatever you have in your mind, write it, and
Yes.
then read it again and again. Then start searching. Why I ask you to search the journal, confirm the journal, because you are going to look for the literature related
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
So literature, try to revolve. You must like I want to ask you to limit your journal search and so on. You can cite anything which you heard somewhere, which you
Yes.
read in the newspaper, you heard on the FM while on the way to from your office to home actually. Anything
Yes.
can be cited.
Yes. Very right.
So anything over here also I want to showcase one more thing actually, which I didn't showed in the slides. When you are addressing the comments, because there was a question of addressing, right? So when
Yes.
you are
Yes.
addressing the comments actually, you don't rush to submit. Actually take your time, but make sure that you are submitting within the time frame, that how much time you have given.
True.
So so you create the story when you are given the comments from research reviewer 1, reviewer 2, and you have to be very very humble, and we have to pay respect that reviewers have put efforts to review your work and gave your comments, and
Yeah.
the reviewers are not getting paid.
Yes. True.
Okay. We are
Yeah.
reviewing hundreds of papers every year actually. This is all
Very right.
voluntary actually.
Yes.
This is not, but we have to do this job if we are in this game, and it's
Yes.
enjoyable. When we read also, when we review also, we learn more.
And
So
we
you
have a
have
very
to,
short deadline to meet because the editor send emails that you have this much time left. Please send us the report. Send us the report.
exactly. So when
Yes.
you are addressing the comments, actually you can create the tables like
Yeah.
3 column, reviewer comments, correction done by authors, page number and
Yes.
paragraph. So
Wonderful.
you copy paste all the reviewer comments like reviewer 1 all here, and then
Mm.
you go to the jump to the reviewer 2. Then what are the correction you have done? You don't copy paste the correction from your paper and throw here. No, it's just a short description that thank you for the comments. It was very meaningful. It was very valuable. And what correction you have done? Suppose in the title, like this reviewer said, in the title I suggest rethink. It can be necessary to use the same time sharing collaborative economy, use of digital marketing strategy in the sharing. So
Yes.
I want to use it. I don't want to. Not necessary that you agree with the reviewer comment. You can say thank you so much for the comment, but think I don't think you can justify by using different references. You can put the citations also in this correction done by author column. That this researcher said it's not, because
Yes.
this is just a reviewer. This is a human. He is a human
Yes.
actually. He is not a you know any
Robot.
holy person or everything actually who are the perfect person.
Uh,
So human, we all are the full of mistakes actually, so it's okay actually. Therefore regret to say, but we believe the current title fits perfectly to the study, and we didn't change the title.
yes. Very
So
right.
this way, and making sure that this page number, paragraph, or the figure number, the table number, the precisely you inform where exactly this change has been done, because you
True.
are not going to highlight that, because you are going to delete some of the thing, you are going to highlight some of the thing, you are going to add on some of the things. So you have to give the revised version, which is totally the new thing, which reviewer is saying, but he has to read the entire paper to understand. But if you look at this table, wow, nice,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go to that line and easily this is convincing also.
Yes. Very wonderful. And when you were showing this correction table, it recalled me the my changes I have recently submitted. That oh, how much difficult it was to address each and every point of the different reviewers. And Dr. Jitesh, you are so wonderfully presented this whole thing that you again address my 7 question in this one page. Because I would like to read the question which you have already addressed, that how to reply when reviewer comment are critically and out of context, which you have already mentioned. The same thing, how to incorporate changes which are not relevant, etc., etc. So within the small talk, you have summarized, you have squeezed so many things like ocean in one talk, that in 2 times you were answering and you addressed so many points like brainstorming and everything. It was so wonderful to hear the all points.
Probably it's due to because we are dealing with a number of PhD students and they are having the same type of questions.
Yes, because they all are the beginners and they are the new in this journey. So they keep on asking that thing. But since we are here in this journey for the past 6, 7 years, so we know the possible or potential questions which are coming on the way. The
True.
same thing, the different students, they are asking the same thing, that for the beginner, should we target the high impact factor journal or low impact factor journal, which you have already addressed all these things. So again, I think we should conclude the session, since you have articulated a very in an impressive way. You have mentioned each and everything. I'm getting inbox messages for congratulation of such a nice session and such a wonderful speaker who removed all our doubts, because not only you motivated them, but you also showed them the real way how to do it. Because even you would be seeing the comment section, that they were asking for the criteria and all these things which you have mentioned, that go to the aim, go to the scope, and then see whether what are the author's guideline, etc. That are the criteria for everything. It really, I'm very glad that you give us the time and you explain each and everything in such a nice way, that even I was, as I told you, that I wish I could be your student at that time during my MS or PhD, I would have done it in more better way, because having the great mentor like you, it is what I used to tell my student, that having a good supervisor is a real blessing. And the supervisor, the student which whom you are supervising is really the blessed one who got supervision like you, who are really contemporary active researcher, who is involved in the guest sessions and projects and publication conferences and so many things. These are the real blessings which the people get. And I'm glad that I got a few inbox messages that we want the speaker information, email address, so that we can collaborate with him and we could talk if we have certain questions. So this is how actually we are contributing. And your contribution to the field, your contribution to the humanity is beyond description, which you are doing it. And we will pray for you so that you be more successful and you could contribute in a more better way. That's a wonderful session. Again, I would say congratulations to all of us. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable suggestion, guidance, and above everything, which I'm getting from my students, that they are saying that the Dr. Jeetesh Kumar has motivated us a lot. That do not afraid of rejection, which they were afraid of the rejection, because they believe that it is a kind of shame, or they were feeling the embarrassment. So, which you have said that even you got the rejection recently. The same thing, we got the rejection. At that time, I wanted to say that I faced also rejection last month, which we were expecting that it will be accepted. But no matter, this is how we grow and this is how we learn. So, thank you once again, Dr. Jeetesh Kumar. Last comment you want to say, and please conclude.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haider Shah, for a wonderful concluding remarks, and thank you so much for having me today. Actually, it's my pleasure to share whatever I know, a little knowledge, a drop of knowledge to big ocean. And also beside that, it's my happiness actually whenever I talk to Pakistani universities. I feel so humble because I'm talking to my own nation. And
True.
please feel free to contact. My contact details are in the last slide of my presentation, and the slides will be shared with Dr. Shah today. And also you can see on the YouTube, I think it will is recorded and it will be available also. So you
Yes.
can find me for my contact details. Just drop me a question. I will try my best to answer to you as soon as possible in my free time. And most important thing is actually nothing is impossible. Earlier I said nothing is perfect. Actually, the both things are right. Nothing is perfect. Everything is imperfect in this world. Actually, the perfect is only someone who have created us actually. And impossible, there's no word of impossible actually. Impossible, I don't know, probably it's a very common saying actually. Impossible, I am possible actually. So
Yes. Thank you.
struggle only actually, you have to work. And you have
Yes.
to, like, especially those, I'm extremely sorry I couldn't go through the all series of questions actually, but few of the questions which I've just went through. How to find the journal, or which journal is suitable, just play around with those websites actually, which I showed
Yes.
you, the Web of Science and the journal, the Scopus. Just play around with the title. When you have the title, or even those 2 words, 3 words title actually, when you select your faculty, okay, you are within the faculty of social sciences, faculty of business, and what field you are looking after, and so on. This will give you the list of journal. And then
Yes.
slowly and slowly you shrink the list of journal. When you have a less than 10 journal, fine, go
Yes.
each and each journal.
Yeah.
What is the category, what is the impact factor, if you are in that, the
Yeah.
impact factor running the huge queue. But if you don't, if you really want to make available your paper free, which is available free for everyone to read actually, because you want to serve actually, that paper should be available freely, because there are
Yes.
so many publishers, the papers are available online, but they cost you $35, $40 actually. I know
Yes.
during my PhD I couldn't afford that much actually. And even though I never bought even a single paper in my life, why should we
Yes.
directly contact to the researcher? on ResearchGate.
Yes.
I need this paper. Actually, in the ResearchGate, there is an option. Okay, when the synopsis is available, abstract is available, and you want to have the full copy, just simply click it. Researcher will get the notification that Dr. Shah want to have this paper, and I'm very happy to share that he's going to read, he's going to cite me. Eventually, that's win-win situation.
Yes.
So we are happy to share. Everyone is always, even the professors are happy. Whoever is that busy, they are happy because ResearchGate is on the now our devices actually, and
Yeah.
we'll check our ResearchGate more than LinkedIn and those other social medias,
Right.
because that's the um, that shows that how what is the scope, what is the level, what is the strength of that particular researcher. So thank you so much once again, and thank you so much for attending. All the participants, please be free to drop your questions. Feel free to contact me, catch me, reach me if you have any type of query. It will be definitely my precious moment if I can share some more to solve your uh, the problems which you are facing.
Yeah.
And with that regard, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Jeetesh Kumar, once again. Thank you, reviewers, for watching this session, and it will be available on YouTube after we finish this as well. You can later on again see what how the Dr. Jeetesh Kumar actually access to the Web of Science and Scopus, and then you can take advantage of that thing. We are here to contribute to the world that we believe in a slogan that come, learn, and share. Because when the knowledge is shared, it grows. So we believe in that philosophy, and that's why voluntarily we are contributing to this field, to this world, to this planet, and this is how one should be doing. And that's why we are very much thankful to the Dr. Jeetesh Kumar for sparing such a valuable time, and the way he articulated, elaborated the things was so wonderful, so excellent, a superb job he has done. Inshallah, we will be bringing more sessions on other things as well, but we will be in touch with the Dr. Jeetesh Kumar, and we will again have him in on different platforms on different topics as well, so that the people who are requesting that to arrange another session with the Dr. Jeetesh Kumar, so that they learn again and they have the opportunity to interact you again. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and inshallah we will be bringing other sessions soon. Take care. Bye bye.